Our journey continues. The refuge that Turtle happened upon luckily was able to help us out with our issue. They did not turn a blind eye to our struggles. Luckily, they were able to remove the thugs before they caused us any harm. After it was taken care of, Turtle managed to run back and save me just in time. He tended my wounds, picked me up, and brought me to shelter. There I lay, rested and recovered until my broken bones and bruises mended over time. Meanwhile, Turtle robbed our fallen aggressors for any valuables that will help us pay for rent and maybe even a place to stay. Thankfully, it did not take long for me to recover, as I was back on my feet by the next day. On this day, I helped Turtle search the dead for more long-forgotten belongings to help us in our plight of money. As we finished looting the fallen, we decided to pick up their bodies to help us train our strength, slowly building more muscle as time goes on. However, not all went according as planned, as during our daily spars with the undead, one happened to take Turtle down and knock him unconscious. Luckily, I was able to just barely scoop him up and bring him back to the refuge we are calling home. That night, we both rested and recovered, and after procuring a sizable amount of cats, we decided to search for a place that we can call our new home. And so, we purchased this little storm house near the center of town. There, we built a research bench, learning new technologies day by day in hopes of founding our own settlement sometime in the future. With this bench, we can now finally study on ways to make us stronger without having to face the dangers of the outside world. Soon we will build a community that can stand on its own, and no longer have to cower behind these walls and behind others. For we will build a settlement that can withstand any foe and any tribulation. However, in order to do this, we needed to upgrade our research bench. And so we tore down the old one and placed the new one. With today's goals finished, we decided to spend the next day training as something a little less tangible and begin training our stealth. Turtle didn't really have a knack for it, but Seep was actually able to grow to a frightening degree. Turtle was skeptical at first, being a mighty Shek warrior, about training stealth. However, not all enemies we can defeat. And so our only path to survival would be to hide and pray they don't see us. As Turtle was out gathering supplies, he was assaulted by a vicious pack of man-eating goats, and so he ran back to the refuge as fast as he can. Turtle, maimed and mangled, managed to bring them back to the city gates before he collapsed from his wounds. However, this was actually a boon, as we can trade the hide and the meat from the goats to help keep us fed. Sleep decided to get some training in while the guards fended off the herd of man-eating goats. Once we finished resting, it was time for Sleep to test out his new stealth skills and go visit a holy farm nearby that we discovered on the way over. I'm sure since they assaulted us first, they would have no problems with being stolen from. They can think of this as reimbursement for the wounds they caused me days prior. Luckily, there didn't seem to be many guards, just a wandering patrol nearby. However, the bulls scare me, so I take my time. Thankfully, the animals didn't think much of me and just decided to ignore me. Finally, in the storeroom, I fill my pockets with as much food and materials as I can. However, during my pilfering, a wandering pack of bone dogs came across the village and laid siege. Taking advantage of the commotion, I quickly escape and run towards the nearest bulls in order to take what I can before running away. Thankfully, the farmers and the zombies were too immersed in each other to notice me, and so I make a clean getaway. Time to head back home and share this sudden batch of good luck. However, on the way back, I notice the voices in my head do not go away, as I can constantly hear the undead feasting on those nearby. Finally back home and with our training facilities completed, Turtle and I start our training arc. We can finally train ourselves without the thought of death lingering on every corner, around every rock, around every step we take. With this peace of mind, we can actually think about recruiting other travelers and have them trained as well. We work on our respective weaknesses and quickly gain knowledge. Training day and night, we get stronger every day. We can now attack better, steal quieter, lift more, and pick through a lock with just our fingertips. After training, Turtle returns to the research bench while Seep goes to check on the farm that he visited once before. To no surprise, all the animals are gone and all the farmers seem absent. The only thing nearby is a zombie feasting on a corpse. However, to my surprise, I find the farm leader inside his house just staring off into the distance. He seemed to have protected his belongings, but at what cost? Feeling bad for the man, I returned to taking what I came here for and then putting him to sleep. However, by the time I return by nightfall, I find that the village is completely deserted, its residents all dead. Had I known that knocking out the poor farmer leader would lead to him being eaten alive, I would have chosen some different method in order to take his goods. However, it is too late to regret my actions now, and I must live with what I have done. And so with nothing left for me here, I return. As I return home, I happen across a group of paladins fighting the undead, potentially the same ones that ruined that farmer village earlier. As the fight rages on, I manage to take what I can and then leave. Perhaps inching too close to danger, I get caught up in the battle and lose consciousness. I later find that Turtle has come to rescue me, and now I've lost a leg. Something about my left side just doesn't want to be with me. However, this does not stop me from pursuing my goal, and so I go to the only trader of robotic limbs that I know in town. Unfortunately, the leg I want is a bit out of my price range. And so I train my stealth to a terrifying degree to be able to take the limb for myself. After carefully sneaking through and picking the lock, I managed to happen upon the limb that I desired. Luckily, no one caught me, so I move on to the safe to see what goodies lurked there. Success once again, as I steal an incredible limb that I didn't even think about. Finally back home and again on two legs, I begin training once more. With the goal of eventually founding our own settlement, we must prepare to defend our walls from any foes that dare threaten us. So we build a turret. And with this turret we shall train until our fingers are numb and until our eyes are sore. These turrets will be our first line of defense, and hopefully our only line of defense. Hopefully a line that will never be crossed. Perhaps after getting too cocky with our survival, we decided we were a match for what we are calling a striker. It's one of the leaders of these undead hordes that we happen across. Although not the commander, although he is the strongest of the normal droves. We find out quickly we are not his match as he knocks me to the ground unconscious. Fearing for our lives, Turtle manages to snatch me up and bring me back to town. Once again, we rest and we recover. Until next time, we will remain resting and training and building towards a better future. Hoping that tomorrow will not be our last. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe to see more, and be sure to let me know your thoughts down below. Have a good one. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk.